Okay, so for her brows, I am starting at the beginning and I am basically outlining the bottom brow and I am creating a shape for her brow and how I want to fill it in. And then I'm just going to repeat this process for her top brow. As you can see, I did not start all the way at the beginning, but I spaced it over a little bit because we don't want our eyebrows to be really dark and bushy in the front, because then it'll look like it was shaded in with a Sharpie marker. So I'm just going to go ahead now and fill in her eyebrow, and then I'm going to repeat the same step for her other brow. So I'm using this concealer from Kiss, and I really love to use this concealer, especially when doing her makeup. So as you can tell, the concealer is a shade lighter than her complexion, and that's because we want to give our brows the very best defined and sharp look possible. And then what I'm going to do after this is just finish putting the concealer all over her eyelid, so that way her eyes are already primed and ready to put some eyeshadow on there. And I'm just going to repeat that same process for the other eyelid. Really try and take your time when underlining your brows with this concealer, because you don't want to rush it. You don't want to do it too high up. You don't want to cut off part of your makeup. You don't want to mess up your eyebrow you already did. If you take your time and start off low as possible, you can always work your way up to eliminate just the possibility of having to start all the way over. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just take a blending makeup brush and I'm going to go ahead and work my way back and forth over her eyelid. She has very defined eyelid, so it kind of already created that crease for me. So I'm just I'm going over and back, creating that motion of just blending in her makeup. Really blend it in. You want it to stand out, but you don't want it to stand out too much to where it's not blending in with the rest of your makeup. You want everything to be on one accord. You want your makeup to be in, all looking the same, all unity. So go ahead, start from the beginning, work your way to the end, and just go back and forth with blending that makeup in. Blending is important. I always say that blending is important. That's like 50% of your makeup right there, is just making sure everything is blended in well. So for this next step, actually I'm using a technique that I saw on Instagram. Once you have moisturized and cleansed your face, you take a face primer, put it all over your face. That's the first step. The second step is to take any kind of glow mist or setting spray and spray it all over your face and give that about a second to dry. So once that dries up, you want to then go and follow with a setting powder and lightly dab that over your face, and that's supposed to help your foundation lay lightly and smooth and stay on all day. So the shadow palette that I'm going to be using today is from NYX. I got this from a family member. And so I'm going to start with just taking a brown shadow and packing that very heavily on her eyelid, because we are going to be doing a dramatic look, something you can do for a formal event or a prom. Okay, so now we're going back in with that same concealer that I used for our brows earlier in the video. And we're just going to put this on her deep crease. And in a second, I'm going to ask her to open her eyes so we can see where our part is going to be. And once we see where our part is going to be, which is, yep, right there, we're going to begin to fill it in. And this is just going to allow our eyeshadow to be very bright and very pigmented. It's going to look beautiful. Alright guys, so this is actually one of my favorite shadow palettes from NK, and we're just going to go ahead and pack on a royal blue color on top of that concealer. I actually never used this color before, so I was very nervous of how the outcome would turn out, but I think it went fairly well for it being my first time using this eyeshadow. But I'll let you guys tell me what you think later. So really take your time with this. Don't worry too much about the mess it's making on the face, because all of that can be brushed away and cleaned up later on. Really take your time, especially if you never did it before, because our goal is to make it as bright and as pigmented and as packed on there as possible, but still smooth. So go ahead and work your way again from the corner of her eye to the outer part, and really make sure you try and cover up all the concealer. Alright guys, so now you can get your blender brush back, because we're going to blend in that brown shadow with that blue eyeshadow, so it doesn't look like we're working on two different projects on one face. Everything needs to be together, one accord, like I told you before. So go ahead and blend in that shadow. Alright, time for eyeliner. You can literally get this liquid eyeliner from any drugstore. I got it from the dollar store. I'm all about saving money. It does the job for me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not really my strong suit. So each time I do it, I'm practicing. I'm getting better. But I like to draw a line on the face coming out first. And then I go ahead and bring that over on the eyelid. And then I just fill it in. I've been working with the liquid eyeliners because it's just been easy for me to maneuver it any kind of way I really want to without having to continue going over it. But it all really depends on what kind of look you're trying to get. I think the liquid eyeliner goes great for this dramatic look that I'm doing for her today. So, like I said before, wings are not really my strong suit, and it kind of wasn't the same, so I just went on ahead and used some concealer to clean up that excess eyeliner that was on there, and it turned out amazing. Both her eyes turned out really good. So there's a little trick you guys can use. If you have one wing that's fatter than the other, just clean up with some concealer. So now I'm using grip bonding eyelash glue that I got from, again, the hair store. I like to save money because for this look, I want a little pop. So we're going to put the eyelash glue on her wing. Then we're going to take a smaller makeup brush and apply some glitter chunks on her wings. And that's where our prom look really starts to come in. So definitely take your time with this. Make sure nothing is falling in your eyes, falling in your client eyes. And just have fun with it. You can put as little or as much as you want to put on here. And if the glue dries up, you can just go ahead and add a little bit more to where you need to add in your glitter chunks. But other than that, just follow this step and you should be good to go. So now I'm putting her eyelashes on. You guys are going to have to forgive me because I threw the case out and I'm not sure which eyelashes these are. All I remember is they're from Kiss. The reason why I got these eyelashes is because she's very sensitive to them and she doesn't like too much heaviness on them. So these are very great for her, very lightweight, and I'm just applying it on very carefully because like I said, she is sensitive to things near her eye. So go ahead, use whatever kind of eyelash glue works for you. I'm just using regular hair glue from the hair store, and I actually picked up that technique from my aunt. Okay, now back to the brows. So now you all can see how I get my brows to pop so greatly. We're going to be using a liquid foundation from Kiss. It is oil free and it does last all day, so they are right about this. So the one I'm using for her is the Golden Honey, and we're just going to take a makeup brush and we are going to go to the top of her brow. Start at the beginning, work your way to the arch, work your way down, and we're going to outline that whole brow with that foundation. And look at the difference that it's going to make in her brows. So go ahead and take that same foundation. I'm going to put it on her forehead, both her cheekbones, the arch of her nose, and her chin. I'm going to take a blending foundation brush, and I'm going to go ahead and start with her cheekbones. I'm going to work my way from the in to out, and I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to move on to the rest of it. Doesn't really matter in what particular order you do it in, just make sure everything is blending in. Alright guys, so like I said before, she does have a sensitivity to things close to her face. So we kind of had like a tough time getting that eyeliner on her lower lid. I didn't want to fight with her anymore because she was uncomfortable with it. So I just left it alone so that it is not recorded. But now we're going to move on to the contouring part. So I'm taking that same highlighter we've been using before. I love how it just complements her skin so well. And now we're just putting it underneath her eyelids. And then I'm going to put it on her forehead, put it on the arch to the tip of her nose. And if you want to, you can put it above the upper lip. Sometimes I like to, sometimes I don't. And then I'm going to create a line on her chin. Because I ran out of sponges, I did end up using a flathead blending brush, and I just kind of went on and patted that in there as if it was a sponge, and it worked out very well. So if you don't want to use a sponge, if you are better with using makeup brushes, vice versa, do what works for you. Like I said, when it comes to makeup, you can be as creative as you want to be. Once I blend all that in, I'm going to finish up with using a darker shade than her complexion contouring stick. I'm going to put that under her cheekbones, around her forehead, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that in. So that will bring in her whole look together. Alright, so our last steps is we're going to take that setting powder and lightly dab it on our face. And that's just to get rid of that shine and give it a more mature matte look. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a lip gloss on. I did try with like a light pink lip gloss, but I did not like how that sat well with the blue eyeshadow. So I did make her lip gloss a little bit darker, but not too dark. And then, like I said, highlighter is totally up to you. I like to play with it a little bit. So for her, what I did was I just put it on her cheekbones, put it on her forehead a little bit, and then I put it on the tip of her nose. And this about wraps up my look for today. So if you haven't already, please go like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Triple M Designs Makeup.